18 and fresh out of school, living his life and trying to be cool. Johnny's world changed with a telegram. Pack your things and don't be slow. For Benin's where you gotta go. We're sending you to Vietnam. Saw things no one should see, all in the name of liberty. Several friends would pass away. Returned home a different man, wondering why he's alive in God's plan. Thought ending it all was the only way. Don't let him be a 22. Gave his body and soul for the red, white, and blue. When his world crashes down, he needs some help to see life through. Don't let him be a 22. Susie was.
That was 22 by DanWesleyWhite. We had him at the Texas State Songwriters Championship finale in 2023 for season 9. And he was a special guest to be an honorary guest because our shows support the North Texas Warrior Golf Association. And it was really cool to have Dan come and sing his song as a special guest performance and, have the North Texas Warrior Golf Association there for the finale. You've been doing a lot of stuff and getting a lot of exposure for your song that's bringing awareness to the 22 veteran suicides that happen every single day. And statistically, that number has risen. What are some what is the story behind that song for you, and where have you gone with that song?
The story is, just like you said, it was my way to bring awareness to this problem that we really need to start focusing on, because we train all these people to go to war, to do wartime missions. And then when the war is over or whatever happens, they're left kind of on their own merits to survive. And sometimes it's just like the government tosses people aside and says, okay, we're done with you. And so that was the main point about this message. There's people out there hurting and everything, and just to bring awareness to it. And also, like, if there's any vets that are in a dark place, hopefully maybe they can hear the words that, hey, you need to keep going on no matter what, and hopefully stop them from doing something.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really about having a network and having, that support system and having people that understand. And PTSD is something that a lot of people do not understand. And from firsthand experience, I think that it's something doctors don't even really understand. And it's completely demobilizing. It's a scary thing to go through. So if you have a veteran in your life and they seem erratic and whatever, like, know that they don't really mean to be that way. Like, they are struggling, and just be there for them and love them through it. There are so many awesome support groups out there for veterans. I know Carry the Load has been working really hard to spread awareness and get people to honor, the veterans every day and not just one day a year. Because, realistically, I think most of America takes for granted what we actually have here. And, we have so much freedom other countries don't have, that we don't realize the freedoms that we do still have. We absolutely need to support those that made that possible and be there for them in their time of need. And so you have did you just do an interview with the Today Show about your song?
Right. It's the Today Show. It's on the Disability Network for the Disability Channel. And so I went on there, and they also have a tie to a lot of, they're international. They're based in Canada, but they deal a lot with Canadian disabled troops, as well as now they're branching into helping U.S. disabled troops as well. So I went on their show the other day and had an interview with them.
Nice. And I saw, I think it was Hero Stock maybe had reached out.
They're doing some. I think they're trying to do a tour with veterans, and so I'm trying to see how far that'll go, and maybe bringing it even here to the States, where making like a veteran themed show around groups with veterans in them, and playing around the like VFWs, Legion Halls, things like that.
Oh, nice. That sounds like it would be a fun and therapeutic thing for a lot of people. I know you just recently released a new song, and the cover of that song kind of reminds me of childhood, like obviously the 80s, and E.T. is what I first think of when I look at the cover with the bicycle. You want to tell us a story about your new song?
Well, it was released 3 weeks ago today on the 24th of May. It's called 80s Child. And it was just my way of looking kind of like, because I've got 2 kids that are in middle school and high school, kind of comparing what they do now compared to what we did growing up in the 80s as Gen Xers. And it's just kind of my take on it. Like, they do everything online and they hardly ever want to go outside. But yet 30 years ago, we didn't ever want to go inside. We wanted to stay outside all we could and all the stuff we used to do. So it's kind of just like a little comparison and a little 80s nostalgia. I call it an 80s anthem.
Heck yeah. Well, we'll go ahead and listen to this newest release song. Only been out for a month, spinning right here on Texas Free Radio. This is 80s Child.
Life today seems to be all about technology. Cell phones, tablets, and gaming consoles available for you and me. My son's spending hours and hours inside doing everything online. When I was growing up, I had to make my own ways to pass the time. They'll never know the freedom of playing out in the world. With all the crime and violence, they're always being observed. Thank God I was an 80s child. Gen X, we were pretty wild. Riding the bikes all over town. Staying out after the sun went down. At the mall with all our friends. In the arcade till our money was spent. Whereabouts sometimes unknown. Didn't need no cell phone. We pick crops all day, collect our pay, hit the record store for a while. Thinking about the fun we had. I thank God I was an 80s child.
That song definitely is going to resonate with a lot of people. Back when we used to drink out of the water hose.
Didn't get cancer or nothing.
Oh, imagine that. Yeah, we didn't even have to come home unless the lights were on.
That was usually, well, you'd always hear your parents screaming through the neighborhood when it was time to go in.
Right. And now the kids never even turn the light. The lights are always on now. Like in every home, all the lights are on, all the phones are on, all the TVs are on, and no one is outside. I know in Texas, it's probably a little bit more difficult to get the desire to want to go outside when you go out there and your skin is roasting, but it's actually very beneficial to yourself as a human to be able to consume air. Imagine that.
Well, just the whole social aspect of going outside and doing your own thing compared to being inside a cubicle room all day long. It affects your mental health.
It absolutely affects your mental health. I was just talking about that with the yoga instructor that I had on earlier. And it's really, I mean, unless you have a lot of house plants inside, you need to be outside for oxygen. And, it's crazy. I used to go, like, we used to treat Six Flags like a divorce. When I lived back home, I lived in Peoria. So we were right in the middle of Chicago and St. Louis. It was 2.5 hours either direction. And they both had a Six Flags and we had passes. So during the summer, we would just do a coin flip every other weekend and treat it like a custody arrangement. One weekend we'd be in St. Louis at Six Flags. The next weekend we'd be in Chicago, until we started always getting the air warning. They came across my phone like an Amber Alert in Chicago. And I was like, you know what? I like St. Louis's park better, and we need to be able to breathe fresh air. And that's a reality. Like, if you're spending all of your time in the city, like, just go out to a lake somewhere and get some fresh air. Like, it is beneficial to so many different aspects of us and our survival. Do you have, how long have you been performing, Dan?
Actual performing, I've been playing since I was 16 years old, so quite a while, about 40 years.
What got you started in music?
Well, I grew up singing in a church choir where my dad preached, and that's kind of what got me the bug. And from there, I went on to learning how to play instruments and playing around. I joined the military band, Army band, right out of high school. And I toured the world for several years and then got out and came back and got my teaching degree in music. So now I'm also a music teacher in South Texas.
How many instruments do you play?
Well, to be a band director, you got to play all of them because you can't teach it if you don't know how to do it yourself.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So you could truly just be a one-man band then, right?
Didn't say I was good at it. I just say I know how to play them.
Well, they say
But
if you do it yourself, I mean, you practice can make perfect, but if you teach it, you own it. So
right.
So
it's a totally different monster.
What are your favorite instruments to play?
My main focus is bass guitar, which is how I'm writing the music and stuff that I sing. I build it from the ground up. I start as writing the bass chords and everything, and then I build the rest of the music around it.
Nice. So you write the song and then you also write the music for the song?
Correct.
Nice. That's awesome. I know not a lot of artists actually do that. A lot of them will take a song that they've written and find someone to put music to their song. You know, and some of them will write parts of the song, but they don't write the whole song. So that's an interesting fun fact here about DanWesleyWhite. Are you working on new music now? Do you have a new song that is set to be released after this one, or?
Well, I'm tweaking some lyrics right now, but it's pretty much done. Now it's just a matter of adding the musical part to it. And then I'll get it into the studio and hopefully have it out around August or September.
And you guys can check out DanWesleyWhite.com. It's actually another website that I built in the beginning phases back when I first started building sites again. We're going to go on there and probably tweak it a little bit. You can find his music on his music page. If you're looking from a mobile cell phone, I absolutely hate how they set up the mobile view for menus. It's going to be the top little 3 lines at the top, and you're going to find it either in the middle or the left or the right. Who knows? But it's 3 little lines. It's probably going to be very hard to find. Just look for it and click that, and it's going to drop down the menu so you can find the other pages. A lot of the sites have everything either on the first page or they have buttons to find the other pages because they have not. And you would think now that most people use websites on their phone, they would have made it the menu more user friendly, but they haven't done that yet. So if you're struggling to find the menu on a website, or a website looks like it doesn't have a lot of information, it's probably because it has a menu and you need to go click that menu and drop down and check that out. We are going to listen to another one of DanWesleyWhite's songs, and that is going to be Which one did we say again?
The Saturday night.
That's what I thought. Saturday Night in Border Town. Do you want to tell us the story behind that song, Dan?
Well, I live in a border town right on the border of Mexico. It's about 5 minutes away from me. And this is my 18th year living here. So I just kind of mixed some of my influences. I mixed country kind of with Tejano. And so that's kind of the feel. So it's kind of like my crossover, I guess you could say. Just kind of the life we lead here and the things we do on the weekends. And that's pretty much the backstory. Being in a little town, you ain't got much to do except drink, which sounds like most of your middle America little towns as well. But added my own little Spanish flair to it. It begins with an accordion solo. So this is Saturday Night in a Border Town.
Nice. And thank you, Dan, for jumping on here and giving us these backstories about these songs that you have. I know that we have your music spinning right here on Texas Brew Radio, and they can find you on your website. Purchase the download directly off of DanWesleyWhite.com/music and have it right there on their phone or tablet to listen to anytime. Or they can find you on any of the streaming platforms because you're on all those as well. We are going to let you all get back from your lunch break. We're going to take you out with Saturday Night in the Border Town.
A few hours or so west of San Antone lies Del Rio, a small border town where everyone knows your name. Lots of fishing and camping, sunset you'll say adios mio, where the weekend starts at the local football game. Saturday night is for cutting loose, dancing to our favorite songs. It's like George said, blaming on Mexico all night long. The senoritas and margaritas and shots flowing all around. It's a Saturday night in a border town.